I wrote a little preface. All successful societies especially shield and protect women and children, if for no other reason than for the survival of the society. But sometimes protection, overprotection, damages more than anything, especially when protection comes at the constant downplaying of consequences, cause and effect, reality, fairness, proportion, and all of that. Someone sent me the story of Jane Modlesky, a rich white girl who drove drunk and killed herself. And that would be the end of the story, except some boys could elaborately be blamed. On down the line, there's boys. We can't just say, well, a girl did something, a girl is to blame, she killed herself. Thankfully, nobody else was hurt. No, it can't be that simple. But as I was preparing for this video and looking up other things I wanted to incorporate into it, I came across more idiocy from Laci Green.
Oh, hi, babes. I was setting up my camera and I realized because I have this orange wall, it kind of looks like I'm in the fiery depths of hell right now, which is totally okay with me, especially since this video is sort of going to be about people who should be in the fiery depths of hell, talking about the shit stains who harass women on the street. I started experiencing street harassment from men when I was about 13 years old. At first, I thought it was cool. I was like, oh yeah, I'm fly. What? Then it happened again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. By the 20th time that this has happened, I realized a few things. One, it only happened when I was alone or with other women. Two, it didn't matter what I was wearing. I thought, hey, maybe if I look like shit, they'll leave me alone. Wrong. I also realized that it happened to every single woman that I know. When I say street harassment, I'm talking about catcalls. Looking good, girl. So fine. You look really nice. Damn. Unwanted sexual advances. I tap that. Hers to kill, girl. You got some nice titties. Getting in my space. Hey girl, how's it going? What you up to? Where are you going? Making rude gestures. Whistling, honking, you get the idea, right? Last week I was walking home from work and some dude decided that it would be totally appropriate to follow me for 3 blocks. Hey girl, where you going? Hey girl, why won't you look at me? Hey girl, are you available? Eventually I whipped around and told him that I was available to punch him in the fucking face if he doesn't leave me alone. Whoa, girl, calm down. I just want to give you a compliment. Where the fuck did you learn to compliment someone? The blaringly obvious fact that this guy doesn't seem to realize is that what he's doing is completely creepy. Well, that is until he experiences it himself. In the same breath that one of these guys will holler at women on the streets, they'll turn around and be totally freaked out about a gay guy hitting on them at a bar. Yeah.
This idiot is talking about how guys catcall women on the street, and she's carrying on as pampered, protected, foolish social pawns tend to do. They talk about first world problems. This is pedestal problems. Don't you hate it when people have such low self-esteem that they would actually catcall Laci Green? I mean, in case you just joined us, Laci Green is ugly. I mean, the faces she makes, just her character is disgusting. Interesting, later in her video, she makes reference to the homophobia of such men because, she blindly says, that the men who catcall women would be disgusted if a gay man catcalled them. So all of a sudden, the only men who deserve any humanity to be able to extend or reflect sexuality outside the little box that Laci Green would let are gay men hitting on straight men. And that's okay, and straight men should have no problem with it. Yet if a straight man hits on Laci Green, there's this big issue. One more point, this is just a preface to how we allow women to be ridiculous to the point of being objectively unlikable, except to the extent that we socialize women to pander to that notion, hoping that they'll be in that spot, they'll be in the Laci Green spot sooner or later. and men wanting to be with Laci Green. What I'll say is, so one more point. That's two more points. One is that if Laci Green and her mentality really stuck, and as would delight her, I would assume, if more and more men became gay, real gay, not Hollywood gay, people like her wouldn't have a voice, not nearly as much. Gay men don't want to hear a bunch of stuff from some self-righteous, pseudo-attractive woman about how she's particularly having a hard time in culture. Gay men wouldn't care. So ironically, when Laci Green ironically enlists the help of men,
the proper way to handle seeing an attractive woman in public is to keep your thoughts to yourself. Don't holler at women who are on the street. Don't give them compliments. No matter how nice or innocent they feel to you, you don't want to make people feel uncomfortable, right? And if you're not one of these douchebags, call those guys out. Hey dude, what are you doing? She's not a dog. She is a human being.
Laci Green ironically enlists the help of men, gay men wouldn't be for that. More specifically, no man with self-respect would be for that. And again, in case you've just joined us, the only reason men pay attention to idiots like Laci Green is if they're sexually retarded and that they try to live through women's sexuality, live through women as emotional oases. Otherwise, they wouldn't care. So she's a self-destructive philosophy anyways. It doesn't even have what we call internal cohesion. It doesn't even make sense in and of itself. She would be gone if her mentality caught hold. If men could be enlisted so easily into coming and fighting her causes for her. That's about all she can hope for. Another thing that kind of flies under the radar is this.
Looking good, girl. So fine. You look really nice. You look really nice. You look really nice. You look really nice. Damn. I tap that. Curves to kill, girl. You got some nice titties. Hey, girl, how's it going? What you up to? Where are you going?
What you might not realize at first is the subtle racial element to that. She's doing a stereotypically black character. No, we have white guys that act like that too. No, save it. Because in case you just joined us in this culture, to get into this culture, you have to pander to idiots like Laci Green. Which is to say, you have to have no sexuality at the baseline beyond what they want. And anything more than that is downright criminal. So, the only people who really have the kind of sexuality where they would be doing this cartoonish stuff, this caricature that Laci Green is putting out, the only people are not let into the culture. And in case you just joined us, black men are especially kept out of the culture. And so they are the ones who would be hitting on you on the street because... not because white men are better people, because they've been emotionally destroyed to the point where they're too polite to have sexuality, so they would never approach you in the first place. But leaving that loser Laci Green aside, thankfully, Jane Modlesky only killed herself. Because just like Laci Green, she's functionally useless, this Jane Modlesky. She's only good as this pity object that killed herself by her own stupidity, drinking as a teen. None of that's a problem. The problem is that those guys let her drive drunk. Of course, for all we know, she kicked them out of the car and insisted to drive home. I mean, as we know in this culture, if a woman is drunk and attacking a man, he can't defend himself. If a woman is drunk and trying to fuck a guy, he has to say no and respect her because she doesn't know what she's doing. And likewise, if a woman is drunk and hands her keys to her drunk boyfriend, then suddenly she's a victim for being part of the crime when that results in death. This is nothing. These are just symptoms. I mean, you got in Israel, that Israeli whore who fucked the Arab guy the first day she met him because, as whores tend to do, she thought she could make money on the deal. That's what whores do. The whore thought that the Arabic man was, as he had claimed to be, a Jewish guy with money that wanted to take care of her for a lifetime. It turns out he was just an Arab guy that wanted to fuck her on a rooftop. And she did, and it turns into rape by deception. That's what the Israeli court gave the man, and the judge even went further to say, we have to protect our innocent young women against these slick-tongued people, these deviants and all this. I mean, it's just getting cartoonish, women having so little accountability. And again, this ties into the theme of cultures are necessarily going to protect their citizens in general, but especially women and children, because you can't have a sustainable culture if you devalue women and children as much as you devalue men. Send men off to war, watch men die exponentially more at work, and then just pretend it's not happening. Men commit suicide far more often. Men die far more young than do women, and we just play it off. If we played off women that much, which increasingly we are, wait for it, it's not going to level to where men are cared for more. Women are just getting cared for less and less, but it's starting with the low-class women. Wait for that. But we need a sustainable culture, so women and children are particularly more or less pandered to, protected, but eventually pandered to. And so then you have all kinds of protective mechanisms in place. For example, various daycares to prevent unwanted pregnancies so women can stay as the siren call to keep men working jobs they hate, to buy shit they don't need, to impress people they don't like. So the Laci Greens and all the girls that you see wasting their time in college who kind of encourage men, spur men along. The big thing you don't want to get them is pregnant. They want to get pregnant because then they can't be marketed as well. But eventually they become as objectively useless as Laci Green and as careless as the Jane Modlesky, and of course there was Taylor Sauer.
That's when we go inside, dude. He's just chilling. What a bike. Hey, what if you say? That's crazy, dude.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
There was the girl who gave the keys to her boyfriend and then got a week in jail for contributing to the death of two people. The guy only got a year in jail for killing those two people, and that's some kind of weird aberration of courts, of course. That was ridiculous. But the woman who gives the keys to the guy, she gets a 52nd, 1/52nd of his penalty. He got a year, she got a week. And then you see the woman drive off, kill herself, and suddenly these guys go to jail. As far as the huge disparity of the woman that wasn't driving and the man that was driving, and all the framing it as she wasn't even driving and yet she's getting in trouble. It's like the time, I don't even know if I'll be able to find a graphic for this, but I remember several years ago there was a man and a woman. They owned a big dog. The man went on some business trip or something. The woman took the dog out. The woman couldn't control the dog. The dog killed a jogger. And the man and woman both got the same crime attached to them, some kind of crime relating to the jogger's death. And the justification by the judge was just as stupid as the justification of the Israeli court that said we have to protect our whores against guys that would fuck them on the roof by telling them a lie or two. The judge says, well, the guy gets the same crime as the woman because he knows that the dog is too big for her, and he would know that she has to walk the dog, and so he put her in this position where, I mean, again, it's just getting cartoonish, where women are social pawns, just made to allow the ruling elite men and women to control men by giving these social pawns all kinds of ridiculous authority, and more and more women are starting to realize that they don't benefit from this even. So just as Laci Green's idiotic perspective is self-destructive, and like the homosexual men that she assumed will all love her, no, that's the Hollywood homosexuals. Real homosexual men will just go their own way and not care. And men in general, any self-respecting man will just go their own way. Not to say that homosexual men are necessarily self-respecting, but it is a nice lead-in to self-respect to be a homosexual. I mean, in case you just joined us, there's that whole joke about why are all good men taken or gay? Well, the taken is because you just want to say that. You want to make it sound like there's no good men that aren't taken. You just want to complain. But the gay men thing, it's a popular thing for women in our culture to say. It's like, oh man, gay men are so much better and fun and this and that and the other thing. Well, for one thing, you're looking at the Hollywood homosexuals that are like you and like to gossip and be petty and ridiculous, and they like to be obsessive about their bodies. But also, as I've mentioned before, if gay men are so wonderful and great and comfortable and relaxing and this and that, what, I mean, again, I know you don't like math and science, women of our culture that think like this, but what is the missing variable that a homosexual man doesn't deal with? Oh, the meticulous emotional abuse, social abuse by women. They go their own way and say, you know what, I don't need you as a sex object, so I don't need you. Again, women are still used to thinking of homosexual men as those Hollywood homosexuals that they still want to be around women because women are fun. No, women really aren't fun. Women know that. Increasingly, women are saying, most of my friends are guys because girls are tedious and boring and backstabbing and gossipy. So again, this is a self-destructive culture where the Laci Greens can't even have a sustainable, consistent mindset that won't destroy them, but also the culture in general. All this tyranny and ridiculousness that you see. For example, women getting far more college degrees now, and college degrees suddenly not being worth anything because the women that are getting their college degrees are getting it in things that people don't really care about, and business is suffering, and men are not getting the jobs that they normally got, and they got them with a sense of duty. Now women are just getting them, and it's just fun, and that forces men into an underclass, and then that's a backdoor draft so that men can go fight and die in war. It's all right. Simply, my point is that women don't benefit from this, and more women are realizing that. For example, the mother of the two mothers of the two men that were killed, the 22-year-old guys were killed by the guy who his girlfriend gave him the keys. And the two mothers don't like the fact that the guy only got a year and the woman only got 7 days in jail for facilitating the murder or the death of the sons. The fact that you can get away with these kind of things. You can get away with pretty much anything. I mean, if you're Kaitlyn Hunt, you can fuck kids, and it's this whole, it's this huge, we need to get behind this heroic homosexual and her pedophilic tendencies. Well, what if you are a parent that doesn't want anyone fucking your kid? Oh, they would like a guy to fuck their kid, but do they just are mad because it's homosexual? What if you don't? What if you don't want girls feeling at liberty to fuck kids? Why would girls ever feel at liberty when they constantly see stories of female teachers and females in general getting away with whatever they want, including fucking kids? and killing men or trying to kill men, and then there's always a reason, justification. Long story. False rape accusations. It's getting silly and ridiculous. It's getting to where it's hard to even frame it. I'm looking at my notes. It's hard to even frame it up. Like you get the Jane Modlesky idiot killing herself, much like the Taylor Sauer idiot killing herself, and you just go, man, how do we tell this culture that this is rampant? Women doing something idiotic and foolish, and then someone else being to blame. And the whole reason why women keep spiraling down and getting stupider and stupider is because when you say that, well, that's not every woman, and this, that, and the other thing. If a man did something so stupid as drive off drunk, we wouldn't go out through a tedious process of trying to blame two women that let him drive drunk even though they knew he was drunk. It just wouldn't happen. If a guy, we'll say a homosexual guy to make it seem realistic, if a homosexual guy fucks another homosexual guy because he thinks that guy has money, you're not going to be in an Israeli court saying, I only fucked that guy because I thought he was going to have money and take care of me for a lifetime. Oh, throw that other guy in jail. How dare he betray the trust of our young Israeli whore? I mean, it's not sustainable. This is what nepotism and hypocrisy get you, is to where people have to bend over backwards to pretend our culture is not just right with ridiculousness. Ridiculousness, hypocrisy, tons of elephants in the room where you go, wow, I seem to notice that women are often killing themselves a lot more. I mean, men are committing suicide a lot more. But women are killing themselves through their idiocy, through their lack of attentiveness. Well, that's not true. A long time ago, something else happened. And more, you can't even point to these things. More and more, we constantly downplay consequences, cause and effect, reality. Also that somebody like Laci Green will like us. Us being culture. I go back to sleep.